Mhm. Hi. Bow-legged? Who says you're bow-legged? I don't think so.
I am.
Who's saying you're bow-legged?
I feel like I feel more pressure on this leg.
You know what though? Almost everybody has one leg that's like a little bit shorter than the other one. And maybe that's why you put pressure on that leg.
And I walk. When I walk, I go like.
You're like just falling on it. Your knee just gives out mid-walk.
I don't know why.
What else am I missing?
Good question. Good question. What else other than what? Let me see here. When will my reflection show who I am? Oh my gosh. I put this on the wrong class. Oops. Boop. I was like, what's going on? I'm looking at the right thing. The short story reflection.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I haven't looked at the Moby Dick in the Dark reflection yet. All right. Well, that's what you're missing. Who I am inside. When will my reflection show? I don't need this. Something I don't know. Interesting.
To like a Spanish cover of like levitating and
Oh, that's fun. That's pretty fun. Where is everybody? I guess I'll let these folks in.
I pulled a couple yesterday.
Hi. Hi. Oh, this is here. James? No James. Jenny, LeBron, Cece. No Cade. He'll come in as soon as I mark him absent. Zane and Randall. We'll give James and Cade just a minute here and see if they show up before we get started for the day. Well, I guess I'm just gonna mark them absent. All right, let me see if I have stuff for today.
Was the assignment for today, Ms.
Go
McCall?
find no-
Calm down, let me get to it. Okay, so we have several things to do today. The first thing that we're going to do is a new vocab unit. So I have published the list and some, not multiple choice, fill in the blank questions. I'll go through the words with you. And I'm not going to put it up here because y'all can, those of you
It's
who are
11
here,
o'clock.
thank you. You can look at it on your own devices. But this is in preparation to start reading The Great Gatsby, which I'm excited about. So there are some words that you might not know, and I feel like this is actually a really good vocab list because several of these are probably words that you haven't heard before, which means you'll have to work even harder. Okay, so the first one is incessant. Continue, which means continuing without pause or interruption. I always think about like incessant chatter. Like in the lunchroom, there's always incessant chatter. There's no break. The second one is redolent, which is fragrant or sweet smelling. The third one you may have heard before. It is ravenous, which means extremely hungry. You're not just kind of hungry, you're ravenous. Number 4 is unscrupulous. Fun word to say. But what that means is having or showing no morals or principles, not honest or fair. If you're a bad guy, you're unscrupulous. A lot of villains are unscrupulous. The next one is stratum, which is a level or class to which people are assigned according to their social status, education, or income. So societies tend to have several different social strata, which is the plural of stratum. And you might not necessarily know that many people or get along with that many people who are outside of your social stratum. The next one is laudable, which means worthy of high praise. If you do something good, then you have it's laudable. You should receive recognition for it. The next one is fortuitous, which means happening by a lucky chance or fortunate. I hope I'm not I don't remember my sentences, so I don't know if I'm spoiling anything, but I always think of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies when I hear the word fortuitous, because Davy Jones, when he first sees Captain Jack Sparrow, he says, "What fortuitous circumstance be this?" And it always makes me think of him. The next one is provincial, which is lacking polish or refinement, or having restricted or unsophisticated interests and outlook. And that also makes me think of a Disney movie, because in Beauty and the Beast, she said, at the beginning when Belle is singing, she sings, oh wait, what's the line? Something, oh, I can't think of how it goes. I want so much more than this provincial life. Than this provincial life. The next one is pander, which means to gratify or indulge, particularly an immoral or distasteful desire. That one can be kind of hard to figure out how to use, but like if you're pandering to an audience, it's like telling them what they want to hear. And the last one is commensurate, which is corresponding in size or degree or in proportion. And again, I might be spoiling the sentence in this case. I can't remember what my sentences are, but teachers' salaries are commensurate with the number of years of experience they have. The more years you've been teaching, the higher your paycheck. So you have 10 sentences here. And I'll give y'all 8 to 10 minutes to go through these. And then we'll go over them, and then we're going to do some discussion.
Miss McClellan,
Yes, ma'am.
I cannot get the Gatsby vocabulary open.
Ooh, what's it doing?
So I loaded into a new window and then I authorize it and then it says authorized field.
Have you refreshed it?
Yep.
Okay, I'm just gonna share it with you then. Well, actually, I'll type the thing in the chat. if anybody else is having that issue, you'll have to make your own copy. But I just put it in the chat. I don't know why that doesn't work sometimes. That's so frustrating and something we never had to deal with Google Classroom. Okay, sorry, that was a little bit longer than I actually intended to give you guys, but Mr. Nelson was here and he was freaking out about how cold it is in my room, which I know, like I've been living with this for weeks, but it's genuinely, it's 66 degrees in here. So that's fun. All right, let's go through these answers together. Number one, because he wants his son to understand the value of money, he does not blank to his whims by giving him everything he wants. What do we think?
Pander.
Pander, yes, he does not pander to his whims. He does not indulge him. Number two, if I don't eat breakfast in the morning, I will be blank by fourth period and try to steal food from my students.
Ravenous.
Cecil was gonna say that.
Yes, ravenous. To be fair, I wrote these answers or these sentences a long time ago. I didn't actually like plan on doing this for fourth period, and also I don't actually really eat breakfast anymore. So watch your snacks, I guess. Number three, while Harry did not win the competition, his efforts were blank enough to earn him honorable mention.
Laudable.
Laudable, yes. Number four, this baby's blank crying has been irritating me all during dinner. I should have moved tables when it first started.
Incessant.
Incessant, yes. The hint there is I should have moved tables when it first started, meaning it's continues to go on. Number five, this is about the author of The Great Gatsby and his wife. Zelda was reluctant to marry Scott because he didn't make much money and was of a different social blank than she was.
Stratum.
Stratum, yes, they did get married anyway. She got over it. Oh, well, she didn't actually get over it. He started making money and she was like, all right, I'll marry you. Number
I
six.
cannot blame her.
Yeah, I mean, she was like a like kind of a debutante in Montgomery and was very high class, and he was just like a poor writer. So she waited until he started actually selling stuff before she married him. Got to keep up appearances. Number seven, the candy store was blank with the rich smell of chocolate.
Redolent.
Redolent, delicious. Number eight, it was
6.
a very blank circumstance that a mechanic happened to stop when my car was stalled on the side of the road.
Oh yeah, you did forget 6.
Oh, snap. Oh, I did forget 6. Okay. Well, because I grew up in a trailer on a dirt road, many people have believed me to be
Provincial.
provincial. Yes, I didn't grow up in a trailer on a dirt road, by the way, but people still have thought I was provincial. It's the accent. Okay, back to number 8. It was a very blank circumstance that a mechanic happened to stop when my car was stalled on the side of the road.
Fortuitous.
Fortuitous, yes. Yes. One sec. It's not working for you. I want so much more than they've got planned. Gatsby vocab. Yep, yep. Make your own copy. Genesis. All right, I just emailed it to you. Number 9, when he got promoted at work, he received a new salary that was blank with the level of work he was now doing.
Commensurative.
Commensurate, yes. And finally, number 10, y'all will know this one because we read Othello. Only the audience realizes how blank Iago really is since he reveals his deceptive plots and soliloquies to the audience.
Unscrupulous.
Unscrupulous. He is an unscrupulous man. All right. So y'all hold on to those. Hold on to your answers. I don't think I actually have a quiz made up for this yet, so I can't remember. I can't promise that all the sentences will be the exact same, but I sort of like all these sentences. I don't think any of them are confusing, so might keep them. Okay, so for a few minutes here, we're just going to discuss a bit. some of it will be sort of a four corners type of deal, agree or disagree. Some of it won't. And I think the first thing I want to ask about is, do you agree or disagree that a person should go to any length to achieve his or her dream?
All depends
On what?
what his dream is. And
Well,
what
where does it depend?
let me give you an example. Have you guys seen that movie, the one with the woman who did fashion?
That
The devil,
you got to narrow it down a little.
the devil wears Prada.
There it is. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know how you knew what he meant from that. Like, there's so-
Because based on the question, I think I understand where he's going, but I just want to see where this goes. So
Okay.
continue.
Yeah. See, in that movie, there was a girl who wanted to just be like her boss, top dog. And she did everything she could to be like her, and she didn't even suck up to her. At the end of the movie, she didn't get what she wanted. She did all that hard work for nothing. Yeah, what else you guys seen that movie so you can get what I'm trying to say?
I have seen
What
that.
I think, I don't know, because that's a really weird example. I think a better example would be Pretty Woman, where she, like, I'm not even gonna paraphrase here. She was a prostitute in like 80s New York, or was it 90s, 80s or 90s New York. And the guy, because he just needs like a date for the week, he takes her and he gives her money so that she could just be with him for the week. And that she easily could have left. Like there was one part in the movie where she was like, oh, I'm leaving because blah 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 blah, because George Costanza was saying something to her and she didn't like what he had to
He
say.
hit her too. He hit her in the eye.
Yeah, that too. And she was like, well, I'm leaving. And then she doesn't leave because she's in love with him, which is such a good movie. But
Wait.
like that would be a good way to just do whatever you want to reach your goal. Her goal was to make money, and she made that money and got a husband in the process. So
That's true. That's what I was gonna ask, like what you thought her dream was. But I guess yeah, like to be able to have money. And also I think probably to like not have to be a prostitute anymore.
that
But
too.
she did do a lot of things that maybe are looked down on in order to achieve her goal. I don't know if I agree that it depends on what your dream is though. Like
I think it does. If you're trying to become a bad person and do bad things, I don't think you should go to any lengths to complete that goal.
well, that's true, but if you're a bad like if your goal is to become a bad person, you're probably not going to care like what you do on the road to getting there.
But even for a good person, you know the whole thing, like, do the end justify the means?
Yeah,
Wait,
that's
so
kind of
it's
what we're
like,
asking.
yeah. So for me personally, go ahead. Just all depends. Because in my point of view, I really don't care. You go ahead. You want to become the greatest man? Well, how are you going to become the greatest man? Or you want to own a business? How are you going to achieve that business? You want to be a gangster? How the heck you want to be a gangster? Stuff like that. You know?
Ms. McClellan, what was the question again?
The question was if a person should go to any length to achieve their dreams.
I mean, if it's a dream, you gotta go out of the box to achieve it because, I mean, it's a dream. Like you gotta succeed in your dream because, of course, it's like everybody not gonna see what your dream is or like the work that you put in to your dream, and it's like, and it's to each its own, really, because you know, a dream is whatever you make it. Because there's a stigma of what a dream is supposed to be, but there's no supposed stigma that you're supposed to have. So
Yeah, I agree with you about that.
Like in Princess and the Frog, her goal was to own a restaurant. And again, she got a husband in the process, but she also went to a voodoo woman and he went to a voodoo guy to get his money back. He got his love of his life. And everybody ended up getting their dream come true, I guess. I don't know. There is no second Princess and the Frog, but let's just all assume
Things
that
seem to end happily.
yeah, things end happily, you know what I mean? So
Happy we don't have a second Princess and the Frog. Just leave it as it is. Just
yeah,
leave
that's true. Because then they might mess it up.
I think what I took issue with LeGrand's answer was that it depends on what your dream is. I don't think it really depends on what your dream is. I think if anything, it depends on what you're willing to compromise. Because there are some people who, like, whether their goal is to be like a master criminal or to be a top brain surgeon, like they'll do whatever it takes. They'll step on whoever they need to step on. They will, if they have to lie and cheat their way to the top, they'll do it. I think some people, probably more people, if they were faced with like an ethical dilemma as to like, is it worth giving up my dream to do this? I think a lot of people would have a little bit more control or like different standards, but I feel like it just depends on like how far you're willing to go. If it's really a dream, then I think that nothing will stand in your way, but that's just what I think. Okay, agree or disagree with this one? Money does not fix problems, it actually causes more.
that's a hit.
I don't know. Okay, well, let's look at it from both sides, shall we? Before we can make a definite answer, let's look at it from both sides. Well, let's put out a situation first. So let's say a person is really poor and they need money to get the necessities and the things in life, right? They get a little bit of money and they use that money and they get themselves some food, and then they get themselves some clothes, and then they get themselves a house after a while, right? So then they all have all that, right? Depending on the person is what they're going to use the extra money for that they receive. So whether that person uses that money and then they take it and then they go spend it on a bunch of clothes and then don't have the necessities that they need to continue to live, like food and water and their bills and everything, is where it starts to cause problems. Now, if they were to actually take that money and then use it for their necessities and then have the little extra money left over for extra things, then that is where the money is good.
Yeah.
So it all depends on what it is. Now, I cannot remember the song. I think it is called More Money, More Problems. But yeah, that is a perfect example in that song. More money you have, the more problems you're going to have, because then all of a sudden random people are just going to be coming into your life that you ain't never met or you ain't never heard of from in years, and they're like, well, I need money from this, that, and the third, and you're like, I don't even know who you are, like, why are you here? So
It's really the lottery.
yeah, like once you win the lottery, you got to dip. You cannot like be here anymore, because there are going to be people in your life you haven't seen for years and they don't talk to you, or they've just been terrible people to you, and they're going to come up and they're going to be like, well, remember when we did this, that? So that's where the problem comes in, is other people around you too. And all of the bunch of stuff just starts coming in at once. I think that's where the problem starts to show up.
Bless you. Yeah, I agree with that. And like, depends on what you do with the money. Like, for instance, Jeff Bezos, who is worth, what is it, like
Bezos.
$7 billion or something. And he, you know, he makes more in a day than most people make in a year. And he doesn't use it to help anyone. And he's like, it's really messing up our economy that we have so many people who are like extremely wealthy, or, you know, a handful of people who are extremely wealthy, and then the rest of us who are not even like close to that. And I feel like it does depend on like what you do with your money. I totally agree with what Cece was saying, that like if you're somebody who's never really had very much money, you can really see money as a blessing, but it does cause some issues. I wouldn't say it causes more issues than it helps, but it can definitely cause problems.
Yeah, I can agree with you. The thing is, what you said, like money causes problem, not exactly. It's not the money, it's the person. Money, all it is just an object, something just for currency. It's just the people that are around you that just want it. All money is just something, just a form of trade.
When a girl asked me if she used him on Twitter, that's what I was
Yeah.
wondering.
I mean, I think it does depend on the person, but sometimes money itself does cause problems. Like,
I feel like I feel like money is not like LeBron was saying, like it doesn't, it's just like a currency, but it brings a status over you. So like that certain amount of money, like you like basically in our society, if you got a lot of money, you got respect, no matter how it is. And it's like no matter what type of money you got, you always gonna have a voice. So in a sense, money does bring like not happiness, but it brings some sort of respect to it.
yeah. I like that you said that about like it depends on like what kind of money you have, or like whether like where you got your money and stuff, because that actually is something that comes up in the book that we're going to read. But do you think people, this is not on my list of questions, I'm just asking this, do you think that people who like get their money one way are looked on differently, as like for instance like celebrities, are they looked on differently than people who like have inherited a great amount of money?
Yeah, I think like, so, and I think she's like a perfect example. Well, both of them are. Kim Kardashian and what's her name? Kylie Jenner. So Kylie Jenner inherited that money, but she's also one of the youngest billionaires ever because she started her own company using her family's name and using the fame that she has received being in said family. Kim, on the other hand, she started her business like after Kylie did. But
Yeah.
Kim got famous for being with Ray J. And then she used that, and that the TV show that they got, I guess that was the TV show. She got the TV show like before she was with Ray J, I think. And she used her name, and then that she didn't necessarily get her money like Kylie did. She just was there and it just came to her. So it depends on how you get it and who you get it from. So Kylie is self-made, Kim was just there. That's would be, and that's why people have different outlooks on Kim and Kylie, because we all know what happened with Kim, but we saw what happened with Kylie. So,
and it feels like Kylie worked for it more,
yeah,
like actually did something to make her money.
I don't know, because to be honest,
Hang on a second, LeBron. I'm trying to hear what Jenny said. Starting what? She's being a lawyer? I don't
Yeah,
think I
she-
knew about
Hey,
this.
Yeah,
Mr.
so
McClellan?
like when oh go ahead.
Hold on, hold on,
Ron.
hold on. Hey, Miss McClellan, you got the wrong black guy. That's Zane. That wasn't me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I saw your little thing light up. I'm sorry, Zane, hang on for a minute. Because this is relevant to what Cece had just said. So like what she's saying, like, what about Kim and the criminal thing? I don't think I know
So
about.
Kim's criminal thing came way later in career. That came way later. That like just happened.
Okay.
So that respect is coming way later than it was supposed to. It's coming way, it was not supposed, if she wanted to do that beforehand, she would have done it beforehand, and then she would have gotten the same respect as Kylie did, but she's trying to get that respect now.
I guess I get that.
So
Okay. Sorry, Zane, what were you gonna say?
I feel as though like none of them really like they worked for their success, but at the same time, it's just a big inheritance because their parents were almost billionaires before they were even born. So it was like they really didn't do nothing. And then like Kylie, personally, she went out with what's the guy's name? Tyga. And that's what blew her name up. And then like she just had
but
a whole transformation.
she had her business before she was with Tyga.
Okay, I get
So
it.
I get both of y'all's points actually, because like, yes, she did like build her own business. She is self-made, but she was also starting, like, I think what Zane's saying, she was starting with a big leg up in a lot of ways. And it's not like someone who came from nothing and made themselves into a millionaire or a billionaire. Jenny?
But all of the kids started businesses because their parents did business too. So
Yeah.
it's a family thing growing up. Well, like the oldest one, like the youngest one, the oldest kids, whatever.
Uh-huh.
It's like a family thing.
Yeah, they've like had the example of how to make their own businesses and like make themselves successful.
So technically, they
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. They, not that they don't deserve any respect because they have done a lot. But yeah, they're starting with a bit of a leg up and have seen all of their other family members create businesses, and it's almost like a family business to create businesses.
It's like, I'm giving you like this year,
Yeah.
like, first of all, I'm giving you like $3 million to start the business. I want you to, you know, make more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. If somebody starts out with their parents giving them like a couple $1 million to start a business, it's not the same as someone who started on their own and like created a business having nothing. Yeah, 100%. Do you feel like if you do it by yourself, like if you start a business on your own and make your own money, do you learn more than if you just did it?
When you work on stuff, you learn like how to like do things by yourself independently and having to depend on somebody else doing your work.
Yeah. Yeah. You probably don't learn as much independence if you have somebody kind of guiding you along the way. That's a good point. Okay. So we have one short assignment for today, and let me share my screen with you guys. And this is kind of a big theme in the book that we're about to read. Come on. But I am posting this on Canvas now. I did not post it before. But the question here is, when people refer to the American dream, what does that mean to you? Do you think what do you think the American dream means? And do you think it looks the same for everyone? And is it very different now than it has been in the past? There's not like necessarily like a word count on this, but just make sure that you're kind of answering every part of the question.
That's not something we're answering on that.
No, this is the assignment. You're writing this. So we have we probably actually have like 6 minutes left because the bell is 2 minutes early now. but just work on this. If you get it submitted and turned in, then you can sign off. But otherwise, stay on until you get it done, and I will let you know when class is over, since our bell is off. All right, guys, that's the bell. Make sure y'all get that turned in, and I will see you tomorrow to start Gatsby.